I'd like to invite our keynote speaker for the evening to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Our keynote speaker.
He started his career as an apprentice and now mentors some of the top FTSE 100 leaders. Please put your hands together for Mr. Moe Nawaz, please, ladies and gents.
Good evening, everyone. We're still here? Where's my glasses? I can't see everybody at the back. Right. It's all about apprenticeships, eh? In my days, as they say, it was a long, long time ago. My God, the new apprentices of today, eh? Reborn again, most of them. Can you imagine a 14-year-old who's still at school and going round in the morning doing the paper round? Summer, winter, snow, rain or shine, spending 45 minutes to deliver the newspapers before going after school. And the same again after school, about 45 minutes, going around doing a newspaper round. And for a mere, what? 7 days for £1. Can you just imagine that? At the age of 14. And then another paper person drops off, ends up with 2 paper rounds. Now you've got an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening. And that was before I even left school. In my days, you were allowed to leave school at the age of 15. Now, when I got to my secondary school, does everybody understand my Brummie accent? When I got to my secondary school, I did my first year. And I was quite proud of myself in many ways. And then my father turned up and he says, by the way, I've just found your birth certificate, son. Your passport date of birth and your birth certificate date of birth are not congruent. There's about 3-4 year gap. So what does that mean, Dad? He says, we're going to have to go to the courts and get it ratified. So within about 2 weeks' time, we had to go back to school. Just as I was about to start my second year, all of a sudden jumped to 4th year. And September 1970, there's me in with the 4th year, and I'm trying to keep pace. And I'm thinking, what do I do now? I don't understand this algebra and everything else and all the rest of the jibber-jabber. Trying to make head or tail of mathematics or English. My spelling from the word go was 0. So I thought, how can I keep up with everyone in here? There's no chance. So I went and seen the headmistress at the time, and I said, look, I need to leave. I'll have to go and get a job. So she sent me off to New Hall Street, where the careers officer used to be. I went down there and I thought, I've always fancied being in the electrical engineering business, repairing TVs, or not videos, I was going to say videos, there was no videos in them days. There were black and white televisions and radios. So off I went, thinking, well, great, I'm going to get a job here, I'm going to get sent down, do an apprenticeship or something. And to my amazement, the careers officer just gave me a card and he said, there you go, son, there's a job there for you. And I said, what is it? He said, it's a job in the factory. I said, what's it doing? He says, well, it'll be a labouring job, don't worry, you'll get a job. And I thought, this isn't what I had in mind. No way. And at the end of the day, like when somebody tells you what you've got to do and it's not in line with what you expect in life, do you lie down and accept what they give you? Or do you say no? I decided there is no way that I want to work in a factory, not as a labourer. So from that moment onward, now this was in December 1970. I then picked up the newspaper, which was the Evening Mail, which I understand now is no longer around. Picked that up, surfed through it, looked through the pages and found a job for apprentices required for electrical engineering. The company was Lee Beasley. I don't know if anybody knows Lee Beasley. They're still around, but apparently they're in Coventry now, not in Birmingham. I went there. It was on a Saturday morning. I took an aptitude test, which I failed dismally. I failed. How can you fail an aptitude test, for God's sake? Well, I did, I'm telling you. After failing that, I went back and seen the recruitment officer there, sat down, had a conversation, and he said, you know something, I quite like your attitude. Even though you failed, He said, I think you've got it in you to do something. He said, if you can promise me that you will go to evening school or get a private tutor and retake this aptitude test by June or July, I will take you on as an apprentice. I'm prepared to take you on now, but I will not indemnify you until you pass the test. 3 months later, I went back, resat the test, and I passed. I took my father along. He signed a 5-year apprenticeship indemnity for me, and I did a 5-year apprenticeship. I did my HNC and my HND. I still can't spell today. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is don't let anybody tell you what you can and what you can't do. If you make your mind up and you commit to that, there's a massive difference between being interested in something or being committed to something. If you are committed and you're determined, I tell you what, there is nobody on earth who's going to stop you. The only person that stands in your own way is yourself. And there's nobody else. If you make your mind up, nobody will be able to stop you. But if you make your mind up to do nothing, there is nobody who's going to be able to move you. So you have to be committed from the beginning that you want something and you can go for it. You have to have a clear vision of what it is that you want. Now, if a paper boy like me at the age of 14 and then leaving school with no formal qualification can make it up and go and sit at the head of FTSE 100 companies, sit there with the board of directors and mentor CEOs of FTSE 100 companies, if I can do it, I'm damn well sure that every person in here can do it damn sight better than myself as well. Don't let people, I don't care who they are, careers officers, whether they're your teachers or your employers, tell you that you're not good enough, that you can't do this and this is all you're destined for. The destiny that you are going for your destiny is determined by your own abilities. If you make your mind up, you can do anything. Nowadays, you've got the advantage of YouTube, the internet. There is nothing that you can't learn. If you put your mind to it, you can probably learn most of it free of charge. All it takes is time. How many people in here, can I just ask on a show of hands, how many people in here actually have a plan of where they're going, where they intend to be over the next 3 years? Can I just have a show of hands? Okay, that's fantastic. We've got intelligent people in here. My God. Normally when I ask, most people don't put their hands up. And the reason behind that is they have no clue. They just want to get there and they drift there. You can get to where you want to go if you decide where you are going. But if you don't know where you're going, you're just going to drift and get there by default. So you can either decide where you want to be in 3 years' time, 5 years' time, or 10 years' time by default, and you get there, or you can get there with everybody else's choice. People will pull you to the left, people will pull you to the right, and you'll get there eventually in 10 years, but the difference is, where will you be in 10 years? Will you be there with your choice by design or by default? That's the question you've got to ask yourself at the end of the day. The apprenticeship, when I served my 5-year apprenticeship, I did 2 weeks at college, I did 2 weeks at work, 2 weeks at college, 2 weeks at work. And that really was a groundbreaking for me because it disciplined me. It installs discipline. The same as when you go to university, you graduate, you get your degree. It sets you up and disciplined you for going forward in your life. But it doesn't mean, say, that you stop there. Most people think you leave school, you leave college, or you leave university, and that's it. You don't need to pick up another textbook. You don't need to pick up anything. How many people in here read at least 2 or 3 books a year? Okay, that's about 50%. The national figure for people who read less than a book a year is apparently over 80%. So, you know, you've got successful people in here. If you could read, just imagine if the average person reads less than a book, and you read 2 books a year, 3 books a year, where do you think that puts you? Does that put you in the average or higher than the average? Much higher, much higher. So there's nothing to stop anybody. The only thing I'm going to leave you with, and I'm going to finish off because I don't want to be stopping in your way between the main course and me jabbering away. The only thing is, I know quite a few of you put your hand up there, and how many were putting up there because everybody else in the audience put theirs up, so you put yours up. Please please, the only thing that I want you to take away today is to create at least a 3-year or a 5-year vision for yourself. And if you've got children, help them to create a 3-year or a 5-year vision going forward. The more that you help them to break that vision down into details, you'll find your mind's going to help you to connect all those details. And the reason most people don't succeed with their goals at the end of the day is because they leave it too vague in their head. It's like beginning of January. 2017, most of us are going to sit there and we're going to make a New Year's resolution, but by mid-January, it's out the window. But the people that will carry on are those that have actually put their steps, details down, breaking it down detail by detail. They are the ones who are going to succeed. So have we got winners in this room? People that are going to make 2017 the best year ever. How many people are going to do that? Come on, guys. Everyone. Great. Let's see 2017 being the best year for everyone here. Thank you very much.